calculated that Gonzaga would make $375,000 a year by joining Mountain West.
What about the addition of possibly BYU to the conference if they decide to leave independent? Do you see them, if they would join, if it's a possibility, joining just as a basketball member, or do you see them completely coming back to the Mountain West as a full-fledged athletic member?
Well, I think there's some interest there, but I haven't had anybody tell me that. It's just on BYU's part. It's just kind of reading the tea leaves. You know, the Mountain West does have a nice round, even 12 football members. And I think for them to go back to the Mountain West would have to take some conciliatory gestures on the part of BYU. They did not leave on the best of terms. In fact, I think they left a lot of bitterness in the mouths of presidents in that league. And they would be beholden to those presidents as to how that revenue is split up. I don't think you see BYU getting extra shares just because, they're BYU. In fact, you're not going to make any more money at 13 than you are at 12 at this point. So it'd really be splitting the pie just an extra share.
How would this change the league as a whole in the Mountain West? In the recent years, it's been a one bid league. Obviously, Nevada had a good run this year in the tournament. But do you see this, if this move comes into play, do you see this change in the Mountain West becoming a multiple bid league?
It would help both parties. It would help Gonzaga's conference schedule strength because, as Mike Ross was quoted in the story, they really take the hit once they start playing in the West Coast Conference. It would heighten the Mountain West RPI, and it would help them not be a one-bid league or two-bid league. They're just playing Gonzaga twice every year for some teams, not all teams, in a 12-team conference would really enhance the position of that league. I looked it up. This past year, the Mountain West was ranked 9th in RPI. West Coast not that far behind at 14th, but take Gonzaga out of that mix, and it slides down. And it does force, I think, at that point, BYU to make a decision on what it wants to do. That league just isn't as good without Gonzaga.
And you also said you expected this decision possibly within the couple of weeks. Is that kind of the timetable that you would see a decision like this with Gonzaga switching conference?
What I was told is that the window for Gonzaga to join the Mountain West this year, in other words, 2018-19, would probably have to come in the next 2 weeks. Wichita State did it 4 days after the Final Four ended last year. Using that as a calculation, you might expect to see something soon. But Mike Ross stressed that, look, we're not going to rush this thing if we don't have to. They could decide not to. They could wait a year. And I should stress, too, that Craig Thompson, the Mountain West Commissioner, told me that it hasn't even been vetted yet at the presidential level. So I think they have to get that first. Now, having said that, I think Craig Thompson could walk in and say, here's why Gonzaga's a good fit. They could vote on it right then. But it does have to be passed by the president.